Hi, guys, it's me, yours truly, Beverly Sherelle Johnson, lifestyle health coach and consultant, registered nurse for over 33 years, known as the Uncommon Flexitarian, and the creator of Eat What. Eat What is my weekly my weekly program that gives you resourceful information and education as to the many USDA and FDA food safety and health concerns. Now, I just don't wish to alarm you, but I also wish to give you solutions, concrete solutions to fuel your immunity, to fuel your overall health so that you can look good, feel good, and have a more positive outlook on life. Welcome to another edition of Eat What. Hello, everyone. Hello, everyone. Just wanted to say again to all those who didn't see me last time, Happy New Year, Happy New You. And here is to your health. This week, we are talking about eating for our spiritual, mental, and physical health. Last week, we focused on the spiritual aspects, and today we're focusing more so on the mental aspects of health. Remember, remember, if you are new to this group, all you have to do, if you missed the live broadcast, go to the members area, click on media, and you'll see every broadcast that we've ever done since the beginning. And you can click on the files tab and see any articles that we have posted, any recipes that we have posted, and of course on the media tab. Once you go into the members area, you can access all of the videos right there. You're never without a connection here at Eat What. And of course, invite others. Invite others. You may invite as many as you like to this group. Just a resource for people to hear about health, to hear good messages about immunity and health. And of course, topics like this, eat for your spiritual, physical, and mental health. A lot of people, as we discussed last week, a lot of people at the at the beginning of the year, they do a lot of fasting, setting the tone, so to speak, setting the tone for what they desire for the rest of the year to look like. A lot of times these fasts are spiritually connected, and sometimes they're not. And a lot of times, a lot of the focus is on food or gaining inner peace, or perhaps more of you just want to have a more healthy outlook on life for the rest of the year. A lot of times people want to set the tone, as I mentioned before, set at the beginning for what they do in the rest of the year, and that's absolutely fine. However you approach it, I desire for you to be healthy, wealthy, and wise in everything that you do, and eat correctly for your spiritual, mental, and physical health. Now, when we talked about us eating for spiritual health last time, we talked about, just to give a brief recap, we talked about how food how food makes us feel. And of course, a lot of gatherings are centered around food. Food is very important, is at the center of most social gatherings that we do as human beings. And so that activity that we have with each other with food is very, very important. Now, one thing that we need to keep in mind, that what we put into our bodies is important, and it helps us regard our mood, our emotions, everything that connects us to how we feel. And that's a little bit of the spiritual connection with food. When we put items into our body, we put foods or other items into our body that do not nourish the body, our outlook on life is diminished. We don't feel as good. We don't feel as well. And later, as the body is not able to guard and defend against all the negatives that we put into our foods and that we put into our bodies, then as the body gives in to those negatives, then it begins to show on the outside. So we always want to have a garner ourselves and eat for our spiritual health, not just to eat for living or living to eat, but we need to eat in order that we nourish our spiritual wellness. We need to nourish our spiritual wellness and incorporate those foods that build our spirits, up, that build our relationship with our creators. With our creator, we need to build those bridges and not build walls. Okay, so we really want to connect first of all with spirituality. And for those who may not be familiar with me, I always believe that we are, and everything that we do has to be approached from a three-part perspective. As human beings, I firmly believe that we are spiritual first, we are mental second, and we are physical third. And I believe that as we condition and we focus on our bodies and on our health in that aspect, that we can go forth in everything else that we do, in our relationships with each other, in our businesses, in everything that we do, even where we are working. If we approach it from a spiritual component, then a mental component, and then lastly a physical component, we will approach life in so many realms so much better. Alrighty, so that's a little recap of what we discussed last week regarding the spiritual. Now let's talk about the mental aspect of eating well. Okay, and so here we go. Here we go. As I just mentioned, we do eat for our spiritual and mental health. Now, when we're as if you notice the banner that I put up for the program, was a picture of a walnut, and on another banner is a picture of a mushroom growing out of the earth. It is my firm belief, and many of you believe as this as well, if I have spoken with you about this, that we need to have more foods, more nutrient dense soil, so that our foods coming out of the soil enrich our bodies. Now, a lot of us here are vegan or vegetarian, but there are a lot of us here who are also omnivores. We eat it all. But wherever your food fare is, you need to eat healthy for your spiritual, mental, and physical health. Now, once again, I'm going to share some notes with you. So share some notes that I have written regarding this subject of mental health. Now, like I said, nature gives us clues. Nature gives us clues as to what we need to eat, and the rest we have learned through science. Now, of course, like I said, the picture of the walnut. If you look at that half-shelled walnut that I placed on one of the banners for this program, you notice that it looks like the brain. Yeah, sort of looks like the brain. Nature gives us clues in so many ways as to what foods do what for the body, and the walnut is one of them. The walnuts are good for our brain health. They're good for our body overall, but particularly brain health. Now, what other foods are good for our mental health and help us to feel good, and it connects us with our spiritual feelings and our connectivity with everything in our spirit realm? Well, dark green leafy vegetables, definitely. Let's look at your cabbages, your kale, um, all of your all of the greens that grow out of the ground. Just look at them. Just look at their shape, their fold. We're talking about a head of cabbage, or a head of kale, or a head of lettuce. You're looking ahead. You're looking ahead. Okay, you're looking ahead. Think about the head. Okay, that's what a lot of people talk to me about. Is how I know I need to eat greens. I know I need to do this. I know I need to do that. But how can I remember what to eat for what? Well, when you're grabbing a head of cabbage, Think about this: a dark green leafy vegetables, uh, kale, greens, mustards, even turnips, collards. Think about the head. Think about the head. Think about that, and maybe that will help you to connect eating greens and eating dark green leafy vegetables to improve your brain health. All right, improve your brain health. Now, I'm citing an article that I thought was really, really important. Okay, this article is by Eating Well dot Eating Well dot AU Australia. Okay, and this article they also stress is they also stress eating eating to not only for our mental health, but eating well can also help change the physiology, our physiology of even our bodies. Okay, um, you want to change the physiology. If you're going to change anything, change the physiology of your brain to be healthier. Give it the nutrients that it needs grow. And there's a lot of research, a lot of science on how we can do this even from the womb. From the womb there are certain vitamins, there are certain vitamins and certain minerals that infants need while growing in the womb to help promote good brain health, and then of course afterwards, after birth, to do so even the more. So you really, really want to connect with these fruits and these vegetables. Now, the signs of negative mental health, of course, more prevalent now than perhaps ever before, and always during a crisis, is negative stress or distress and depression. Distress. These are moods and these are symptoms, signs and symptoms, and even diagnoses that fall underneath these two words deplete our health. It depletes our mental, our physical, and our spiritual health. And by eating more healthy items, we can combat these symptoms of stress. Now, we've talked about this before, but for those who haven't heard it, the stress vitamins or the natural stress indicators in the body, the vitamin B, the family of vitamin B loves to attack your stress. Thiamine, in particular, loves to attack your stress. All right, so that nerves are at peace, your nerves are calm. And of course, we have also studied and we have also discovered that while you are stressed, you're not digesting as well. So keeping your body at a calmness is very, very helpful for your mental health. When you're not digesting, it doesn't when you're not digesting well, it really does not matter what you're putting into your body. If your body cannot digest it because of stress, then you're really just going to eliminate it untouched. So we really want to be mindful of our mental health in that aspect by keeping our spirits calm. So to see the bridge there between the spirit and the mental. All right, you have to keep the spirit and the mental interconnected. Like I said, we're parts of three. We are three-part beings. We are spiritual, we are mental, and we are physical. And one health in one area does not necessarily mean that you automatically have health in another. So mental health is so key in connection with our spiritual health, so that we can even digest the foods that can enrich our brains, that that enhance our moods. They can enhance our moods. And like I said, going along with this is learning how to combat stress in our lives, knowing how to combat stress. Now, let's just talk about that just really, really briefly. People, you really need to know how to handle stress. And I know stress in many situations can mean different things. There are different levels of stress, but it is particularly in high, and I'm talking about the distress now. I'm talking about distress, not the U stress, which is the EU stress, the good stress. I'm talking about the negative entities of stress. The negative entities of stress, like I said, it really prevents good digestion, so our bodies cannot absorb. It also wears your body out. It wears the body, the nerve endings. It really weighs heavy upon your countenance, on how you look and how you feel and how you react to things that are going on around you. So we really want to look at the levels of stress that we allow ourselves to be a part of. Now, how can you combat stress? Real easy, real easy. What we can do, what we can do is to first recognize what things are causing negative stress, negative people in our lives, negative words, negative places that we might be in contact with, doing negative things. First of all, we have to admit to ourselves that we are responsible for our health. Therefore, we have to do things that, so we can put guards and boundaries up so that we protect our health. Negative people, if you have someone in your space who is constantly or even periodically just speaking negatively towards you, those words, they come through your ears, but it gets embedded in your heart, and then next thing hey, you might start to agree with it, and you may not agree with it on many different levels, but if you hit a low point in your life and you haven't done anything to remove that negativity from out of your heart, out of your ears, out of your heart, out of your space, then when you hit a low point, all of that comes reverberating right back up. So you really have to be cautious. You have to be cautious and really discern your surroundings, the people in your surroundings. If you have somebody negatively speaking in your atmosphere, do all that you can do to disconnect, to get away, and to put positive risk. Let's not get rid of that individual or those individuals, but replace it with positive energy. One thing that you can do, and this is something that I practice myself, one thing that you can do is focus on what you do the first thing in the morning. Because I believe, as I have been taught by my parents, and as I see even in the Word of God, the first thing that you do can really set the tone for your day. So what do you do? What do you do to prepare for your day? I have an uncle. I loved him dearly. Loved him dearly. Uncle Uncle TJ. Well, you know what? He would always say, prepare for your next day of the night before. So you're not jumping into the day wondering what to do. You always know what to do because you planned for it. And I've really thought about that. And I just, as I was growing up, I really thought about that. And when I heard him say that, and it really does bear, bear truth there. When we plan for our days, when we plan for our times, we enter the day with more peace involved and less stress. Now, of course, plans can get moved around all the time. Mine's do, yours do. They get changed, they get moved around all the time. But one thing that you can remember, that when they do get moved around, it's because you already had a plan in place. But if you jump up and you just approach your day any old type of way, then then anything that comes along, you just see that as a part of your day. If you have a plan in place, then you can recognize this is a part of what's going on and what I have planned to do, or this is not, and then you can govern yourself accordingly. Depression. I want to talk briefly about depression. Depression is very, very prevalent, and very, very prevalent during these times. We had, for the last nearly 2 years now, we've been dealing with the uh, COVID-19 and all of this aftermath and everything that's going on politically and in healthcare and everything in pharmaceutical, everything that's going on with that. There's a lot of depression. First, people were experiencing a lot of depression because they were suddenly and suddenly, and really no one was really prepared for it, but we were shut in for a time. We were shut in for a time, and then a lot of depression is went around as people were dying literally all over the world in massive droves, massive numbers of people perishing due to this COVID-19 or of any of its variants or anything that was connected to it that perhaps invaded their immune systems. I mean, you're talking about millions of people. So there was a lot of depression, and there still is. Jobs were lost, businesses were lost. The A lot of people talk to me about the inequity of money that was being dispersed for businesses. A lot of people talk to me about that. It's very some people just lost literally everything. And yeah, it gets to you after a while. And you can be depressed. You can be saddened. What you want to remember is do not stay there. Do not stay there. You don't want to stay there. You don't want to give in to this on a day after day after day basis. And of course, if you feel yourself doing that, then of course, reach out for help. First of all, admit that you're in a state of depression. There's grief counseling that is available, and it's free. There is free grief counseling available right in your locale. Get connected to help. Get connected to help. That along with what you're eating can help build your mood. I'm not saying ignore it. I'm not saying just breeze through it. Really deal with the issue. Really deal with the issues that you are experiencing that produce this mood or this behavior, these feelings of depression and even of stress. Just get connected. Now back briefly to what foods that we can eat. We talked about foods that look like the brain, okay, such as your walnuts. But besides for walnuts and dark green leafy vegetables, another thing that we can definitely eat are those foods that have great omega-3 fatty acids in them. Okay, we want to keep the good oils in our system and the amount of carbohydrates, things that break down into sugars. All right, and of course, keeping the not keep okay. I'm not going to say keep all sugars out because our body does utilize does break down carbohydrates into sugar for our use. But if you're someone who does not eat the all natural products of sugar, such as stevia, maybe stevia gives you some gastric distress. So maybe you're using the in the raw sugar products or the pure cane sugar products or honey. And maybe you're using a more natural product, and that is fine. Or maybe you're still using domino sugar or any of the other sugars that are refined. So if you're doing that, you want to eliminate as much as possible all things that have added sugars in them. Decrease or eliminate your use of added on sugars. And you don't want to get too much into high carbohydrates, foods with high carbohydrates, because your body wants to use the amount that it needs for for energy, for things that it has to do to synthesize the foods, the materials that we haven't and that we have digested, so you can get it across to the body. And then after that, whatever is not used, then the body cannot just discard it. So you really want to monitor your diet there. You want to monitor everything that you're putting into your body. And when it comes to sugars, you really do have to be careful. This affects your mental health. It really does affect your mental health. One experiment that is widely popular out there, I don't know if you've heard of it, I'll just describe it briefly. Some people don't believe that the pops, the sodas, have sugars in them that would just bring and make you more tired, to bring down your mood, such and such and such. All right, there's one experiment that has been done where individuals did drink I think it was nearly of soda, and they were assessed as to what they were able to accomplish within an hour or so afterwards. These individuals who participated in that really talked about they were so much more tired than uh, than they were had they not uh, put all of that sugar, excess sugar, into their bodies. Now, that's just one experiment. There are thousands and thousands and thousands online that show the negative benefits, the negative effects of putting sugars into our bodies. But we just have to be really, really, really careful about that. Really, really careful. There are things up online, and you can see you can see how it negatively affects the body. Of course, sugar also, I grew up hearing sugar rots the brain. I grew up hearing that. Did not know how much truth that was. Did not know how much truth that was to that. That the sugar no, actually rots the brain. I did not know that, but yeah, it really sort of does. It really does. Sugar breaks down muscles. It really does not give an environment for health. It gives a more of an environment for bacteria. So you really don't want to have too sugar into your system. You got to always remember that the breads and the starches that you're eating also get broken down into sugar. So when you're adding extra sugar into it, then you're really doing a lot. You're really doing a lot, and a lot more than what your body needs. Alrighty. So eating for spiritual and mental health. Eating for spiritual and mental health. What else can we do? We talked about eating more greens and having a more nutrient dense soil. For those of you all who are interested, there are products out there. There are products out there that can help you enhance if you're growing your own food at home, which I really do recommend if you can do so. The Tower Garden. Now, of course, if you go to my bio on Facebook, you can get connected. Just go to my link tree there and get connected with the Tower Garden. The Tower Garden is one container system that helps you grow your fruits and your vegetables at home. At home. It's really a phenomenal system. And in upcoming programs, I'll be glad to show you guys how this all works. Can't do it today, but that's just one way that you can grow more fruits and vegetables at home. You don't have to be concerned about soil. You don't have to be concerned about seeds not growing. It's a one container. If you're interested, you can always direct message me at Beverly Sherelle Johnson, or you can go to Facebook, click on my link, click on my link tree and go to the tab, scroll down and go to the tab that says Tower Garden. I can definitely help you get connected there. It's really a phenomenal system, and don't worry about your electric or water use. It uses so little water and so little electricity that the whole container system really doesn't run, and it runs so whisper quiet. It's quieter than my refrigerator. It really runs so whisper quiet, and it only uses the electricity when it needs to. It only uses water when it needs to. So you don't have to worry about, am I going to do, what am I going to do? Is going to be too large for my home or too small or anything like that. This is a one container system that really takes care, addresses all the needs for eating healthy. So, like I said, if you're interested, direct message me, or you can definitely go on Facebook to my bio, click on my link tree, scroll down to the Tower Garden. All right. Well, we got to wrap it up today. Talking about mental health, talking about how we can eat better for mental health, water, and wrap it up with you. My favorite beverage is water. I love water. All right, and eat and drinking the that you can afford to do so. Please do that. rinsing your body of rinsing your body out of the negative food byproducts, enhancing your cells with water is so very, very important. In fact, I always recommend that the first drink that you take in the morning is at least 16 ounces of water. Some people say 8, I say 16. That's usually the size of one of the disposable bottles of water. At least 16. You can add a little lemon juice to it, but it helps wake your body up. It helps cleanse your cells from the night before and foods that digested overnight. Just really, really helps you focus. Really, really helps you focus for the day. So just a little tidbit there. We really wrapping it up. We really want to eat for our spiritual and our mental health. What we really would like to do is connect the two. So watch and monitor what you're putting in your system so that you radiate health through your spirit. You'll be able to, as we always say, look good, feel good, and have a more positive outlook on life. Well, that's all I have time for today, folks. I hope you've enjoyed this program. You can see we're doing some different things, different things studio wise. Let me know if you like. We're just trying to, change things up just a bit. But I want to connect to you. I'll see you guys next week. We're going to continue with this series about eating for spiritual, mental, and physical health. And next week, we're going to talk about the physical. So until next time, my name is Beverly Sherelle Johnson, creator of Eat What. Invite others to join in. Invite others to join in. And if you would like to have an invitation, of course, direct message me or any of the members will be glad to have you on board. Okay? Direct message me at Beverly Sherelle Johnson. You can also email me at betterlivingwithplants@gmail.com. Talk to you guys later. Have a great week. See you next week. Bye bye.